Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. Friday. We made it to the end of the week. Man, it's been a long week. And the date is January 21st, 2022. Congratulations, everybody. We crossed the finish line. I mean, it's pretty much the finish line. I know some of you guys are at work. You still got maybe a little bit more work to do, but we've made it to Friday and we made it to the live stream. Whew, let's take a breath. I need a breather. This is definitely like I need a walk recovery after this week, not a jog recovery. It's been, I don't know why. It's just been, it feels like it's been such a long week. Maybe it's because it started getting really cold here in Chicago. So that might be part of it. But in any event, we're here. Hopefully everyone listening on the audio version, if you're out there for your workout today, for your run, hopefully you're having a good one out there, staying warm. And everyone listening and watching on YouTube later after the fact, hopefully you're having a nice relaxing evening or a wonderful Saturday morning, depending on whenever you're watching this. All right, let's see who you got in the chat today. Ines comes in early and says, "Hi, Kofoods and everybody. When I plugged my Garmin into my computer tonight, it said there is an update available. It's called Phoenix 7. That's what I told my wife anyway. Nice. That'll work. I think that would work. My wife wouldn't notice. I mean, she keeps an eye on like the credit card and stuff. So she'd be like, "What did you do?" But I could just say it's part of the update. I don't think that will work, but I think it's an interesting attempt there. JC says, "Hey everyone." Okay, what's going on, JC? Good to see you again. And Luis Becerra says, "Yo, what's going on, TGIF?" Every time I hear TGIF, I still go, "Ba-na-na-na." I start singing some theme songs in my head from ABC's TGIF. I think we talked about that last Friday. Did we talk? Was that last Friday? It seems like such a long time ago that we talked about that. CV70. Oh, no, it was Trivia Tuesday, wasn't it? No, I don't know. The days are mixing. CV76 says, "Yo, what's going on?" And Brett says, "Yellow." TJF, y'all. Awesome. Dan Johnson says, "Sorry to report more cold weather coming your way from Minnesota." Yeah, Minnesota is just like a different level of cold. I feel like there's like a not a prime meridian, but like a cold meridian. And I definitely feel like, Chicago's right at the border of it. You just go a little bit further north and it just gets so much colder for so much longer, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, good on you guys for being able to handle it every year. Whew. Frank says, "Why do short weeks always feel extra long?" I don't know. I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. All right. Martha says, "It's still an ice rink out there. Just walking to town and back yesterday wore us out." I've been seeing a lot of footage of icy runs for a lot of people, especially out in the Colorado area. So be safe out there. Really be safe. It's just Mark says, "It's been a while, but glad to join again." I think Mark's got a cat in a box as his profile picture. I don't know what the box says. There's words on it, but it's a cat in a box, which is pretty cool. We'll do a dog update since someone requested we do a dog update. And Buddy is checking me out. He's watching me. He's hovering over by me pretty closely right now. I don't know if he needs something. I think his eye is kind of flaring up. He gets eye drops every day in his one eye. I think I forgot to give him his medication yesterday. And so today he might be struggling a little bit. Or it just could be the normal way it waxes and wanes. But otherwise, he's doing all right. I did surprise him today. I think he was, I think there's something going on with the water bowl where when there's not a lot in it, I don't think he could see that there's still a little bit in there. And then he normally like tips the bowl over when it's empty and it clangs. And so that's how we know to fill it. And sometimes he'll do that and then he'll end up with like water all over the place. He didn't do that today, but he was standing one paw in the water bowl and just staring at the kitchen wall. And I came around the corner to go in the kitchen and I startled him and he kind of jumped a little bit. So he kind of had a moment where I don't know where he was, but he wasn't here. And but yesterday was a good day overall. We had no accidents in the house, so I'm gonna call that that'll be my barometer for a good day. So no accidents. We had some good walks. He was really feisty yesterday. This morning, not as feisty, but he's a little bit snuggly. He just came over to me or giving him some scratches on the head. So I think it'll be maybe he's tired too. It's been a long week for him as well, I think. All right. JC says, "You're quite blurry, Mr. Co." I think my internet is slow. I think my wife forgot that it's live stream time and has scheduled a video call for work. Sometimes she's inconsiderate like that. So I think that's what's going on. So I think once she gets off of her work call, I think then we'll be in better quality internet. But for a while, I think it is going to be a little bit blurry. So sorry about that, guys. I've been thinking about switching over to a different streaming service because I use StreamYard now, and I've been thinking about some other ones because StreamYard's getting expensive, and so I like what it does, and it feels expensive, but maybe it's not expensive because it does everything that I want, and nothing else does everything that I want. It looks like the low internet icon has gone away, so hopefully that'll improve things. But I've been looking at like Riverside, and I think that might be better. I'm not sure though. I think that Riverside lacks a couple of live stream features that I want. So we're here on StreamYard for now, and sometimes my internet's not great, and I think that's just the nature of live streaming, I guess. All right. Dan Johnson says, any truth to the rumor you're going to running Grandma's half or full? I think I'm signed up for it. I better be signed up for it because I'm planning on it. So I'm planning on being in, is it Duluth? Running along Lake Superior in June. I gotta check that today because otherwise I saw Minnesota Distance Elite just posted that. I don't know, like I think maybe it's because Minnesota Distance Elite athlete has won the marathon like every year for the last several years in a row. But they're saying like, they have like some fundraiser like bib available. So like I think you pay a little extra for it, but it goes to support the running club. So I'm like, ooh, I like that idea, but I think I already have a bib. So I'll check on that to make sure that I'm signed up for it because that's a race I definitely want to hit this year. And then I got that low Wi-Fi notification again. I don't know what's going on. All right, Fantabulous Dopke's back, says, hi, all. By the way, Co, happy to join you in the age group since this morning. All right, well, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, and welcome. It's a good age group. It's a good age group. You're you just turned 40. Which is the one that I want to press? Is it this button? Yeah, there we go. Some applause for you. We haven't used that button in a long time, so that's why I forgot which one it was. But yeah, happy birthday. All right. And as Dunbar says, in the Kofuzi Dog Club, says, happy birthday to Canelo, 1-year-old today. Awesome. Lots of birthdays today. That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. Very cool. All right, I'm going to scroll down, try to keep up with you guys in the chat. All right. Seek Your Elite is here. What's going on? It says, good day, everyone. How are you? Martha says, if you're in Duluth in June, will you still go back to Western States? Are they? They're not the same weekend, are they? Ooh, I hope they're not. I will go to Western States if like Hoka brings me back. That's probably the only way that I would go. I don't know that they're gonna bring me back. We haven't talked about it yet, so I don't have that on my calendar. I mean, I have I have a calendar somewhere. It's a Google calendar, and then I also keep like just a list of like per month what my trips are. And I don't recall there being a conflict between those two things. I guess we can look it up real quick, but yeah, I mean, my hope is to go, and this time I'm thinking like, I went for my first time last year, and you cover the obvious story, Walmsley. Then the second time you go, what else can I capture? What can I do differently? So like that excites me quite a bit. So I'm thinking about how I can approach it and bring a different angle to the story. The difficult thing I think with covering like those like trail ultra races is that one, they're a lot, well, they're not always, but sometimes they're point to point. This one is point to point. That presents a lot of logistical problems. But they're also not like televised usually. Well, Western States now is like live streamed the entire time. So, when they're not televised though, then it's like part of it is people want to know like how the race unfolded a little bit. And so like there's like a pressure to chase the lead pack, I think, for me. And I think I gotta like let go of that and be like, I'm not NBC. I'm not going to be able to provide that. I'm not like the Golden Trail series. So like I got to figure out like I got to be a little bit more thoughtful about what's the story there. But I mean, I don't see myself going on my own, but like if a brand brings me out, then yeah, I'd love to go. It was a fun place. Just the energy there is great. CV76 says, so according to Sydney, there are unwritten rules when running in the elite pack. I had no idea. And maybe that made me sound like a total noob when I was just like, is it chatty in there? But I feel like I've asked that question to other people before, and I feel like I've gotten some different answers, or some other interviews that I've heard as well. People have suggested that that may not always be the case. So I think that's going to be a question that I'm going to ask like everybody. Was it chatty in the race? But yeah, just put out the video today. I interviewed Sid last night, Sydney Gidibudai, and I was very excited to do that. And he's the only person that I asked to interview after Houston, and he agreed to sit down. So that was pretty cool, and I was glad to get that out there. I'm really hoping that, I was kind of hoping that he'd be like, by the way, this is good timing. I'm going to announce, depending on when this comes out, well, I'd like to announce who I'm going to be sponsored by. I was really hoping it was one of those things. I think maybe I'm like a week or two early on that, but hopefully someone will be picking him up soon. But it was a great conversation. I had a really good time with it. And we talked a lot about like what it's like being in that lead pack, because he was in that lead pack for a good 11 miles at Houston, and it went deep, it seemed like, and then it really stretched out in the last 2 miles. Yeah, and he was like, it's really, really quiet, and I'm like, that's creepy. I mean, I didn't say that, but like in a way, I think of it as being like meditative, like how I imagine things are like with like sled dogs. Everyone's just like, firing on all cylinders. There's noise. It's not quiet, but there's not like chat. It's very focused, So that was really cool. Or like what I would imagine things are kind of like in like a flock of migratory birds, or just, I don't know, like I feel like, or like a herd of horses running, like I just think that like there's an energy there to it that sounds so cool. But on the other hand, I'm just like, I don't know. I'd be like, so everybody feeling good? I don't know. That's what I do when I'm in a pack. I like, if I'm in a pack by like mile 15, I'm like, what's your name? I'm Mike. Like, or well, these days when I'm in a pack, usually people are like, everybody seems to know you, because a lot of people do say hi to me along the course. So, I'll get a lot of that, and after a while, people get curious and they're like, "Wow, you're really popular." I'm like, "Well, I'm kind of like famous on the internet." So like that leads to a conversation a lot of times, or I'll just be like, "What's your name? Seems like we're running the same pace. What are you shooting for today?" So yeah. I mean, I can't keep up with an elite pack, but I certainly wouldn't. I'd be like, "You guys, let's liven the mood, fellas." This is kind of like what I would be like. And I think it's amazing. Like that story, you'll have to watch. The guys will have to watch the video, but that story he told about Frank Lara, because Frank was running as a hometown hero. That was an interesting story too. All right, Tracy Smith says 12 degrees this morning on the run, but so nice, sunny, and no wind. I thought that's what I was going to get today, Tracy. That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be, and then my phone said it's 23 degrees. My watch said 19. My phone said 23. I'm like, okay. But I thought there was supposed to be like 0 wind. I'm like, this is going to be perfect. I had a workout scheduled, did some more mile repeats, and I thought it was going to be great. And then it was not great. I'm tired. Remember, I told you guys yesterday, I was like, I finished my easy run yesterday, and I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to do a workout tomorrow. Well, that was today, and the workout was better than I thought it was going to be. I really thought I was just going to be like going through the motions, just whatever. At least I didn't run fast. I didn't do threshold pace, but I got the workout in, and it was harder than easy and better than nothing, and I was like, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was difficult. And I felt like I had headwind on several of them, which I don't like to happen. But you know what, Tracy, you and I, we both got our runs in, so it's good. Running in Pizza says, "Hey, Co, have you ever run an ultra? Thinking about the Torin, but I'm nervous about zero drop on my Achilles." I have. The Torin is the one ultra shoe that I disagreed with me. The other ones, I think I've run 2 other ones. I thought they were great. I'm very excited about the new Ultra Vanish. There's an R, a Vanish R, and a Vanish T, the race version, and I think the training version. Much taller stack height, but still zero drop in carbon fiber plate. I'm not sure how that all works in a shoe that with those kind of like those words don't make sense to me in a lot of ways. But Cal Neff paced Kira D'Amato to the American World Record, and he hit his own PR. And Frank Lara debuted at a 2:11 marathon in his same shoes. So I'm excited to try those. I'm not sure if the Superior is getting an update this year or not. If it's getting an update, I'll try it. If it isn't, I won't. And then I don't think I'm going to do the Lone Peak again this year. I'm not sure what else. I think I'll definitely pick up the Escalante. So those are some of the ones I'm looking at. For me, I don't have any problem adjusting to like running in a 10 millimeter heel drop shoe one day and a 0 the next. Some people, it takes them a while. So I'm not sure. I mean, some people say like buy a Topo or like a Hoka and get like a 4 or 5 millimeter drop shoe and try that for a while. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I alternate between a 4 millimeter drop shoe, an 8 millimeter drop shoe, and then 10, and then maybe that's why it's not a big deal for me. But it was never a big deal for me. All right, Rob Bimspow has got a question. Says, "Hey Mike, I'm looking for a Mexican shoe for my recovery runs. Is the Bondi 7 too heavy? No, not for a recovery run. I think the Bondi 7 is great. I prefer the Bondi X to the Bondi 7. And the more I run in the Bondi X, the more really it's just really another Bondi. It's a very good Bondi. It's my favorite Bondi, but it's a lot more expensive than the Bondi 7. So, I mean, I don't think it's too heavy, but I do think if I'm comparing the Bondi 7 to the Fresh Foam or even the Bondi X to the Fresh Foam More version 3, I'd rather have the Fresh Foam More version 3. So, those are some that I would look at. All right. It's just Mark says you should focus on the non-elite for Western states. Yeah, like I mean, not that he's not elite, but like Bronco Billy, he runs in the 50-year-old age group. I'm like, that's an interesting guy. He's still killing it out there, doing a great job. But I'm like, that would be an interesting, but he's not a Hoka athlete. So like those are some ways where I feel like I think that there are other narratives that are there that I'd like to explore. But I just have to kind of sit down and think about it. But I mean, maybe I need to start pitching ideas to people too. So I mean, that's probably what I need to do. I need to start pitching. Maybe I do pitch Ultra. Like I'd love to follow Bronco Billy around. And maybe Ultra sends me out to Western states. I don't know. So some things that I'm thinking about, like as I think about turning this from like this is something that I do on the weekends and at night to like, all right, now how do I kind of like scale up? Not that I want to get big and have like staff and stuff, but like how do I like level up just one level? And I think that's like pitching ideas to brands and races and stuff. So yeah, I like that. I like where you're going with that though. It's just Mark. I think that makes sense. And Frank about the interview with Sid says it was a good interview. Brett Reed also thinks it was a great interview. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do more of them, and I'm trying to think about like how I can do it in a way that like, I mean, I think I have a certain kind of approach to interviewing that's different than I'm not gonna go out there and go toe to toe with like how Sidious Mag does an interview or how like Jonathan Galt would do an interview. That's not me. Nor do I like ascribe like or aspire to be that. And so I'm trying to think about who are the people that I can interview that I think would like fit best in that kind of like interview model. So I think it's going to be a mix of like people that are professional athletes like Sid, and then people that are not professional athletes, but that we know. Like when I have Jamie on, and I mean that's a little bit more fun because we're just hanging out. But like other creators or other kind of like people in the space, I think. Yeah, and Shannon said, "Heck yes," about the interview with Sid. She says, "I congratulate Sydney on his one-on-one," and he responded with an actual conversation. Seems like such a good, humble person. Yeah, I mean, that's the vibe I got. That was the vibe I got coming through on, in his socials, and in his other podcast interviews, and like me just talking to him too. I mean, it's the same person. It's just, not always the case with people. So it's very refreshing. Cody Davis says, unwritten rules are dumb. If a runner uses a rule to their advantage, good for them. Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting point. And Dan Johnson says, by the way, loved your video on momentum. As someone from Minnesota who's been running for about 50 years, not continuously, I think it's momentum that keeps me running, especially during the cold. Yeah, I think so too. Something else that I was thinking about today as I was struggling through my workout, and I think is probably going to be, the subject of maybe not next week's or maybe the week after that's run motivation, is like the idea that like, just going through the motions, it has such a negative connotation. And in a lot of respects, when the phrase is used, it's in a situation where simply going through the motions is really not enough. But there are certain times when that's exactly all you need. So I think that was the nugget for today. And it's kind of, I think it's related to momentum, or like kind of like a foundational question to momentum. How do you build the momentum? So what's in between motivation and momentum? I think going through the motions, maybe. So that's kind of like where I'm at thinking about it. So, but yeah, I'm glad. I think people have been responding really well to it lately, and I think I'm going to try to continue to do like about one a week of those. Davin Patterson says, if he's racing, if I can keep up with you, you're going to have to listen to me. That's a funny rule. If you don't like it, you can always run faster, I guess. I don't. I think it's really funny. Oh man, that's hilarious. Frank says, every time I've tried to have a conversation in a race, people seem weirded out. Yeah, I remember when my buddy and I were running Indianapolis together. I think this was 2019, maybe 2018. I don't remember. That was the last time I ran Indy, the Monumental Marathon. We were just chatting. Like the first maybe like 8-9 miles, we're just like it was just a long run conversation. And I know that bothered some people. People are like, who's talking? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I was like, I didn't want to be like, you guys, we're in the 3:30 group. We're not trying to win this race. But, I do think it was off-putting for some people. All right. Brett says, I have the Stride Pod and Apple Watch. Do you think Polar provide any advantage over the Stride Apple combo? The main advantage it provides is that the battery life. And what's most important or pertinent now related to battery life is that it won't die in the cold. My Polar Watch never dies in the cold. I think maybe it's happened. I don't know. I don't think it's happened. It has like, there's been maybe 2 times. I mean, I've had some weird data issues lately, but like as far as like cold weather, like losing a run, it's happened once or twice in the many years that I've been running with Polar Watches. And then, but like an Apple Watch, it'll just die because it's cold. And it doesn't do any like emergency, like, oh, I'm shutting down. Let's hurry up and write data and then shut down. It just stops working. So that was for me a big problem. Now my Apple Watch is old, 3 years old, but that was a problem that I had like in the first year of having it too. I just don't think that it can handle cold weather running. So, and I mean, the thing is though, with the Apple Watch, you start asking it to do a lot of things. So I'm having it stream music, record my run all at the same time. And like, if you then later on, like ask it to switch tracks or go from like listening to music to a podcast, that change in it having to do something usually makes it die. So like, I think of this week, 7 runs in the last 7 days, it's probably died on me 5 times. Usually it's toward the end of a run, so it's not a huge problem, but it, like almost every day. I mean, I guess if you're not having any problems with your watch dying, you would already know that because you have that. But that's a big advantage. Yeah, that, and you don't have to like charge it every day. I just remember when I was running with an Apple Watch, I was always was always like, maybe if I just put it on the charger for 5 minutes quick, I'll get enough to get me through the run. So there was like a lot of that kind of stuff. Mm. And it says, he liked the clip in Dr. Josh's Houston Marathon video of the guy shouting, "Smash the like button" to Josh as he ran past. I feel like it. I mean, I feel like, like next time Josh runs a race, if I'm there, I'm gonna make and I'm able to. I probably won't be able to make a sign because I have to run with. I don't have to, but I would probably want to run with cameras and stuff. But like, I think some great signs would be smash that like button for Josh, or just smash it, right? I think I'll just yell at him, "Smash it, Josh! Smash it! Keep it spicy!" I feel like there's so many fun things to yell at him. I want to see him race in person. I mean, the times where we have run this, and been in the same city for a race, we've both been running, so I don't have a chance to like see him race. But I think that'd be fun. That's amazing. I don't remember hearing that. I watched it, but I don't remember hearing that. I'll have to watch it again. And Stevie76 says that crazy guy was me. Awesome. So cool. So cool. Awesome. Yeah, definitely gotta find it. All right, Adam, still trying to get me to come to Leadville. It says, "Come to Leadville. It's not in back. Pacing and going through the night isn't as hard as you think. Nighttime is like a party with fellow sufferers." Maybe that's one that I'll cover, right? So like maybe I'll just go watch and try to capture some footage. Yeah, but with that being like an overnight race, that makes filming at a whole different level of difficult too. So that might be a fun challenge. I don't know, my friend Kevin Lara out in California, the photographer, he's been running, he just ran like a 2:54 marathon in CIM, and he does a lot of ultras as well. I don't know if I think he went to shoot Leadville last year. I don't know if he's running it this year. I'll have to check in with him because I think there's a bunch of people that are running that I know. Well, Eric's running. Eric Paramount in here. Is Eric in here today? But yeah. So I mean, I think that could be a fun trip. Jennifer Paxton says, "I listen to the live stream every day and finally have a chance to catch it live." Awesome, Jennifer. Thanks for listening and good to have you here. Best part, I'm here in Chicago on vacation. Well, very cool. Hope you brought some winter running clothes. Hopefully you're able to get out there by the lake. The ice isn't too bad. So like it's pretty good. Although like my favorite time in the winter is when it is bad. Because I'm like, if it's going to be this cold, it might as well be epic. That's kind of how I feel about it sometimes. But all right, well, welcome to Chicago. Dan Johnson says, "I'm tracking with you on going through the motions. That was exactly what I was doing today. Slow, cold, windy run, and that's okay." I think with running it works. I think it's okay. I mean, if you're doing that every day, that's another thing. But like on those hard days, sometimes it works. All right, I'm gonna catch up to you guys in the chat. Yeah, Shannon says Kofuzi doesn't want to pace overnight. The lighting would be bad. That is a main reason why I don't want to, because filming it is hard. So yeah, nighttime filming is always super annoying. And I feel like I mean, we brought it up. I think Shannon brought it up yesterday about how I'll probably get lost too. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get lost at night. And people are like, "Oh, it's because you're being with all the GoPros." And I'm like, no, I could have just been running this race and had no GoPros with me, and I'd still get lost or tripped on something in the night. But so that's how it happens. Cody says, "I'm envious of Dr. Josh's hair. He does have great hair, doesn't he? A good mustache as well." Adam Fierce is saying, like, someone came to Chicago in January for a vacation. It happens. Me and my buddy, the last time I was in Minneapolis, is me and my buddy went up to go visit our other friend that lives up there. And so it was like, yeah, we went on a guy's trip to Minneapolis in February. I think this was like 2 or 3 years ago at this point, but Yeah. It was really, really cold. I mean, and this was in the time, it was a while, I guess this was a while ago now, because this was the time before there really was Uber. This was one of those things where you're like, you would get to a city and you'd be like, is there Uber here? Or they not have Uber yet? Like that kind of thing. And I remember we were just trying to find a way to get around at night, and it started getting late. And we were like, uh-oh, guys, I think we might have to walk home. And we didn't bring like thick enough jackets because it was February, overnight in Minneapolis, and it was so cold. And luckily, someone found like a cab like sitting at a corner, and they like ran after it, and we got a cab. I feel like we almost could have froze to death that day because everything was cold. But anyway, we made it. We survived. But now there's Uber, so we wouldn't have had that problem. And as a junior, me and my dog, no, my running buddy, not my actual buddy, my running buddy went on a guy's trip. Yeah. HBC San Antonio says, I have been stalking Rabbit to grab one of their running flannels. Are they coming back? They've been restocking every once in a while. I saw, you know what? They restocked the one, they had the short sleeve running flannel, like the summer running flannel. It wasn't flannel, but it had like a flannel print. And then I didn't pick it up the second time either, and I'm pretty sure it's probably sold out. So I don't know. But that running flannel, I should have wore that today. I was just so cold after my run. I started to go with like the a little bit of a jacket inside, but that running fleece, I haven't worn that in a while. I don't. Hopefully, I didn't lose it somewhere. I haven't seen it. I'm trying to think where it is. Probably left it at my mother-in-law's house. All right, let me scroll up a little bit because I think I caught up to you guys in the chat. All right, I think tomorrow's video, I don't know if I'll do a video tomorrow or not. It'll either be tomorrow or Saturday. I'm not ending, but just to talk about tomorrow's video. For tomorrow's video, it's going to be about the Primex. So I've been seeing a lot of videos about the Primex lately, because I think people are finally starting to get them. And I don't know, I've been loving that shoe. I ran in it in really cold weather, and I was like, oh, I bet you this shoe behaves very differently in the cold. Still great. Still really loved it. And I think that's what tomorrow's video. No. You know what tomorrow's video is gonna be? That might be like that Primex video might be like Monday. The next video that comes out is gonna be about the Rabbit Cocoon. If I have it, I shot I forgot that I shot the talking part of that yesterday. Oh, I just lost my camera, guys. Sorry about that. Let me switch over. I think it's starting to get warmer in here. So I'm certainly getting warmer, but I was like, maybe it's because I'm wearing a jacket. But I think the sun is starting to really peek out. But that cocoon, it has like the built-in balaclava, it goes over. So that's what the next video will be about. So those are the next kind of two videos. All right. Dan Johnson says, after cold runs, I often take a bath to warm up. I thought about that today. I was like, I could use a bath just to soak in the water and to get my like hands and feet warmer faster because I was cold. Sometimes I just like after the shower, I'll get in a bathrobe and just like make a cocoon on the bed and like get underneath all the covers and just completely cover myself for like a couple minutes just to warm up, even after a hot shower. People be talking about like taking cold showers and all this stuff and how it's like invigorating and it's like painful, but it's like good for you. And like people swear by them. There's no part of me that wants to try that. Like I like my shower, it's as hot as I can possibly get it. I don't think it's that hot. Like I'm sure other people take hotter showers, but for me, I was like, if it's painfully hot, that's about right. That's kind of how I take all my showers. Even in the summer, I use hot water. Like I don't take like cooler showers when it's hot out. So, yeah, the hot bath would make sense. The hot I mean, my showers are real hot, so I go for it. Adam thinks that Let's Run thinks Sarah's record will fall fairly quickly, but perhaps only Molly can go under 220. You think? I was thinking about that today. I was wondering, like, there was a lot of very famous or like very good right now women marathoners at Houston running the half. But I think that there are some of them are getting ready for Boston. So this is kind of like mid season for them or like mid build up for them. And a lot of the times we're like in the 69, 68 kind of range. So I'm like, where does that put them in their fitness wise? But still, that's pretty fast. So I don't know. I'm not sure, like, will Sarah Hall's record fall quickly? I don't know. I don't know how long the record stood before she broke it. But I'm also wondering about Kira D'Amato's record. I mean, Sarah Hall's still in really great shape, really great fitness. She just needs the right day, I feel like, to hit the marathon. Like, if we had a cold Chicago, like, would she have broken the record on that day? I think a lot of people would think yes. Not that it's that easy, It's not I don't think it's just as simple as weather, but I don't know. It's an exciting time. Shannon wants to know, what's the Nike Zoom X Street Fly going to be used for distance-wise? Lower stacks or shorter? What's a mid-foot flank? I think that it's used for 5K, 10K. It says it I think it says it right on the shoe. So I think this is the year where we're going to see super shoes for road runners of the shorter distance, like the track/road guys. Finally get some. That's where I think the Takumi-san is. That's why I think this Streak Fly is. There's going to be that one New Balance shoe that looks like a Rebel, but it has a plate in it, and it's supposed to replace like the New Balance 1400. So I think it's like a mile, like a road mile type of shoe. I think maybe 5Ks. So I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of those, and I think that that's really interesting. I have a feeling I don't know that I'll try a lot of them, but I suppose I should. But I don't know. I've been debating whether or not to pick up the Takumi-sen. I was right about to get it to do the Midnight Mile for Tracksmith, and then that event got canceled. So, yeah. Jason says, not running related, but is that wedding ring one of those silicone ones? Cool color. Yeah, it is. I got it earlier this week, and you guys saw it right away. But it is a blue ENSO ring, and it's actually a R2D2 because they have like the Star Wars licensing. So, yeah. Stephen Lung says, washing hands, finished the first marathon in 4:02, 2 minutes over goals. Oh, but that's a good day. Suggestions for off-season training plan, but strength routine, speed work, or just keep trucking? I think that, it depends on when your next marathon is going to be. The longer that you have, the more I think that kind of like doing a full rebuild with like strength, like getting in the habit of a good strength routine is good. If you're going into off season, I don't think speed work is the time for that now. So I would say do a lot of base building, enjoy running. I don't think it necessarily has to be a lot of super high mileage weeks, but just easy weeks. And make sure that you're still coming in with a good aerobic fitness when you start your next training program. So I think that's kind of what I would do. So, yeah, keep it reset, if it's an off season, make it an off season. That doesn't mean do nothing, but I think that you can certainly start incorporating those things that normally, like during a marathon training plan, you'd be like, yeah, I really should be running, so I'm not going to do this. So do all those things, but that's advice that's hard for me to follow. I keep saying that I'm going to do strength work, but really I've gotten as far as doing mobility work. I have not been able to do much more than that. So. And it says that open water swimming is getting pretty popular over there. Cold swim each day is supposed to be very beneficial. I'm sure it is. But I think it's because I get cold so easily, and once I get cold, I stay cold. There's so much about it that I find difficult. Whew. Yeah, I don't, and especially the cold shower people. I'm just like, that's really great for you. Luis wants to know, now that I'm remembering it, does Jabba the Rat still live? I would say probably not. I don't know the exact lifespan of a rat, but Jabba the Rat was a rat that I encountered every day I had to make some new routes during like the height of pandemic. The lakefront was closed, so you couldn't run over there. So I found some other street routes to run, and I would always encounter like the same. Well, it was a little nest of rats in this one same spot every day, and I named one of them Jabba the Rat. And then we left for Iowa for a long time, and I didn't see him. And then when we came back, the lakefront was open, so like I wasn't running that way regularly. But since since then, that corner where he always was has been redeveloped. It used to be a grocery store, and then it was just an empty former grocery store for a really long time. And then they finally tore down the building, and then it was literally a pile of rubble for a long time. This is old Treasure Island in Boys Town on Broadway, for those of you who are familiar with the area. And so then it was a pile of rubble, and then now it's like a 7-story like condo building, but it's gigantic. Like most condo buildings are like just tall, like skyscrapers. This one is wide. It takes up like the entire like lot that a grocery store was on, with a surface parking lot and everything. So it's a very strange shape of a building. So it's kind of weird, and it definitely like makes the entire street feel claustrophobic, because like the building is like right on this like on the sidewalk. So very weird. But I have a feeling that we probably are past the Jabba's lifespan, like natural lifespan. If not, I mean, he's certainly not there anymore. Cody Davis wants to know, is Tracksmith clothing lightweight, at least for late spring, summer weather? It depends on what you're getting. I think that like the t-shirts are all a little bit thicker, if you ask me. So like they're very comfortable to wear, and I prefer them on days where I could go with like a thin long sleeve, or I might run in the Tracksmith short sleeve. That's kind of how, like, at least the ones that I run in are. I also have a Tracksmith singlet. It's one of my favorite things to race in or do workouts in. That one's really lightweight. I love that one. I think I have it in like a mint green color. Either that or it was white and it's now just been discolored. I'm not sure which one it is. But yeah, so it depends on the piece. But for the short sleeves, all the short sleeves that I've tried are a little bit on the thicker side. Lucas H says, late to the party, but had a day off from work, so I did my long run on Friday. Crazy. Isn't it nice when you can do your long runs during the week? Finished 18 and a half miles at 7:32. Woo! With 6 miles at marathon pace. There you go. That's a big day. That's a really big day. Good job, Lucas. Brett wants to know, what headphones am I using for live streams? These are Sony somethings. I don't know. Like the Sony names are like CH-193456. So there's something just weird. They don't have real names. They are noise canceling. The noise canceling is not great. They're over the ear though, and they sound pretty good. So I think they were under $100 just to keep it. Hopefully that helps find it. Scott said Meatloaf left us today. I saw that this morning and I was really bummed about it. And I just thought about Bob from Fight Club. And it's like, it was very sad about Meatloaf, but I also felt like I was watching Fight Club again for the first time, if that makes sense. So I usually don't get too like, I don't get worked up. Not that I'm like worked up, but I don't usually I'm like, oh, so-and-so passed away. But I don't know. That Meatloaf that Robert Paulson character in Fight Club really resonates in a lot of ways. I really like that. That was such a good character. and he did such a great job in that role. So that's what like connected with me today. Chris Dyke is here, just in from a stroll. Happy Friday, folks. Oh, good to see you, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Ozen Font wants to know any news on the Kinvara 13. You were making 11 to me back in the day. Still loving it. Such a comfy upper fit and snappy midsole, but it's finally oscillating out of the rotation. I don't think that I've seen the Kinvara 13. I'm not sure if it's going to get Power Run Plus this year. I'm not sure about that, or if it's still going to be Power Run. Yeah, I don't know. I ran in the 9 and the 11, so I guess if I'm going to follow the pattern, I might run into the 13. So, I'm trying to think. I think the only 2022 shoe from Saucony that I've run in so far is the Peregrine, and I've been really enjoying that. So if like the Kinvara is going to be anything like the Peregrine, I think, then I kind of feel like the Peregrine is a trail Kinvara. So it might be good for me to pick up the Kinvara 13 this year. But I think that like for shoe releases this year, I'm very curious to see how they end up actually, like when they actually end up releasing. Now, the one thing is the Nimbus Light 3 wasn't supposed to come out until like the end of this month, but like 2 women's colors and 1 men's color already came out. And the Nimbus 24 came out, I think, like right on schedule. So, I hope that bodes well. I hope that bodes well for the rest of the shoe industry for this year. Because I know like it was kind of, people are all like, well, like when is the shoe coming out? Well, what we're hoping for is like, that's kind of like was the answer for everyone I talked to at TRE. So I feel like everyone's kind of like, we're not sure what's going to happen with the supply chain. So we'll see. Shannon wants to know, speaking of that midnight mile, did you think Nick's Pacers did a poor job? And track people, feel free to answer. I heard people say Hobbs and Mason didn't. It was definitely in the comments quite a bit that people were saying that Mason went out too hard on lap 2, and then was it Hobbs or Mason that should have moved out of the way a little bit earlier for Nick. So I'm not sure. I don't know what the conversation was in terms of what Nick wanted those two to do for him. Maybe like it maybe looked like the Pacer should have gotten out of the way a little bit earlier, but maybe Nick still needed him to kind of like hold on to. So I don't know. I think that like if anyone's gonna pace him, it should be those two, because they run with him every day. Well, not every day, but they do all their workouts together. So I feel like in those situations, they're gonna know what they need to be doing to help him out. So I don't think that's a situation you can really blame the Pacers on it. But there were a lot of people that were in disagreement. Adam says, have you thought about doing a segment at a local Fleet Feet? Yes. Fleet Feet and I have been talking for about 3 years on something. One of the things, we just never end up happening. The first time I've gone to some Fleet Feet events. Like the first time I ran in the Carbon X was at a Fleet Feet event. It wasn't like a Hoka event that I went to or was like invited to. I heard about it. I think I don't know if they still do, but I think this was back when I still used Facebook, but I saw it on their Facebook group and I just signed up and went. So that's how I got that like footage of that shoe. And then since then, they've been like trying to figure out ways to work together, and I'm all about it. I'd love to. But it just never ended up working out. Like one time it was like, hey, do you want to be in a photo shoot for the Fresh Foam War? And this was like the version 1. And I'm like, yes, I do. And we had it set up, and it was supposed to be like Thursday at a certain time. And I'm like, all right, I'll move. And this is when I was working. So I'm like, I'll move some stuff around in my day so we could do Thursday at like 2, let's say an arbitrary time. And then like I got a text like on Wednesday. They were like, hey, can you be here in an hour? And then I didn't see the text until like several hours after that. And I was like, no. They're like, all right, sorry, we had to do the shoot now. So like, okay. And then that was one time. And then since then they've reached out like a bunch of times to try and do stuff. I think because they wanted to get people back in stores, and I'm like, I'm not going in a store right now. I apologize, but I'm not gonna. And so that was kind of like the last time that we talked about it. But I'd like to do like I don't know, maybe it would be like I don't know, maybe a fun idea would be to do a Monday mukbang at the Fleet Feet. I think that'd be kind of fun, and eat all the running snacks and taste a bunch of them. So I think that'd be kind of a fun idea, and like I could talk to someone about like how do you use this, when do you use it, what's it good for, and who's buying it. I think that would be like the interesting other kind of like angle. Having like a taste test, like a second person do the mukbang would be fun. But I think having someone that works at the store and is like, oh yeah, you know who loves these? CrossFit people. CrossFit people come in here and they want to buy the Metcons. And then I don't even know if Fleet Feet sells Metcons. I think they do. And they buy lots of socks, and then they buy a bunch of these Hammer nutrition gels. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, but like, I think that'd be funny if they were like, yeah, there's a very clear demographic that enjoys Stroopwafel. That'd be kind of fun. David Patterson says, did you get into Berlin? I did not. And I'm looking for a replacement, but I'll be doing Honolulu Marathon in December. I did not realize there's a Honolulu Marathon in December, but that sounds fantastic. Number one. And number two, I did not get into Berlin either. So I'm out. I'm bummed about it. I really wanted to go. Oh, Shannon wants to know, when is the Sydney Gidabudai conversation happening publishing? It just went up. So it should be up on the main channel now. Because it's been up there, I think, for just like maybe 20, 30 minutes before the live stream, I think. I think that's when it came out. So, yeah. So if you guys want to go check that out, it's on the main channel now. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. I won't see you guys live again until Monday. And then over the weekend, we'll have probably one video, and that'll be the rabbit cocoon. And then I'll see you guys again on Monday. Monday mukbang. I've got a couple of things planned. It's going to depend on, what I can get and what's available to me, but I have to drive around to try and find some stuff. So hopefully it'll be fun. It'll be a little bit different than what I've been doing, but it'll still be here. But I got to procure stuff. I got to go drive around on Monday. So hopefully I can get that done, and we'll do another Monday mukbang. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. I'll see you then. And then over the weekend, enjoy your runs and be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.